What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be going over the Duplicator WordPress plugin, which we could use to create backups of our websites. We could migrate our websites from one server to another, and we could even clone our websites if we want to work with it locally on our local web server. Duplicator is a very popular plugin, as we can see over here on the main page on WordPress.org. It's active on over 1 million plus installations. It's recently updated, has a significant amount of 5-star reviews, and if we go over some of the information over here, we can see exactly what it does. It gives you the ability to move, migrate, or clone a WordPress site between domain names or hosts with zero downtime. It pulls down a live site to a local host for development purposes, which I'm going to be showing you in this video. We can create a manual backup of a WordPress site or parts of a site, and we can duplicate a live site to a staging area or vice versa. This is a great plugin to use if you want to create your backups, or if you want to just have a clone of your live website to work with it locally on your local web server. And that's what we're going to be doing in this video. So if this is your first time to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification icon. That way, whenever I create a new video, you'll be notified of that video being created. As you can see, I create videos on how to manage a WordPress-powered website, how to code a custom WordPress theme and WordPress development. And I have other videos on topics such as social media marketing, blogging, and reviews of some of the best WordPress plugins and some of the best WordPress themes. Alright, so again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification icon. Alright, so we're going to be using this demo site that I have. It's blongsites.com, and we're gonna do a full backup, clone, and migration of this website to our local web server. And then I'm going to go through the process of dropping the database tables and deleting all the files from the server so I can replicate the process of doing a migration or restoration in this case. Now I'm going to be using MAMP for the local web server, and I'm going to be using FileZilla for the FTP program in order to FTP into the web server. Alright, so I'm going to go over here first to the website. I'm going to toggle this over here so that way I can see my admin toolbar. So first thing you have to do is log into your website and then go to the back end of your website. We're going to go to plugins. We're going to click on add new. From here, we're going to search for the Duplicator plugin. I'm going to increase the screen size over here. Alright, so we see it's the first result, obviously. It's the WordPress migration plugin called Duplicator. Again, active on over 1 million plus WordPress websites, and it has 1,690 reviews, and the vast overwhelming majority are 5-star reviews. As you can see, it's recently updated as well. So we're going to install this plugin on our live website. Once it's installed, we're going to activate the plugin, and now we have it activated within our plugins list over here. Alright, so these are the plugins that I currently have installed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through two different versions of this. One is going to be excluding some files or excluding some folders. Specifically, I'm going to exclude the WordFence directory and tables. I'm also going to exclude the iTheme Security Pro directory and tables as well. Reason for that is because we're going to first go through the process of cloning our website for our local development purposes. And for that, we really don't need to have the WordFence directory or tables or the iTheme Security directory or tables. But then for the second step, in terms of the actual migration, we're going to create another package that does include the iTheme Security Pro and WordFence Security directory and tables as well. Alright, so you can either go to manage your settings over here with Duplicator, or you can go to the Duplicator section right here. Click at packages. Currently we have no packages set up. You could also look at the tools if you want. Gives you some information about your stored data, your server settings, scan validator, and any PHP information you want to check out. You could also look at your settings over here. And this gives you some basic information about your full path and some settings that you can configure here. We're going to leave this to its default settings as is. And then you can get some more information by clicking on these tab icons here. But we're going to go back to the packages section. We're going to create a new package. So from here, it already gave us a default name. and you can change this to something different if you want. So we have this first one here as a default, and for the second version I'll just create a different name for the package. You could choose your storage location. By default it's set to this location in the free version. If you want to get the pro version, you'll have some other options as well, but we're just going to use the free version here. Now for the archive, we're going to enable the file filters. The reason for this is we're going to be excluding some paths to the WordFence plugin directory and the iThemes Security Pro directory as well. So you have these links over here that we could work with. Again, let me just increase the size of the screen so that way we can see it better. I'm going to just click on this one right here, WP-uploads. And then from here, instead of uploads, I'm going to double click that word, delete it, type in plugins, select all, and go to a new line and paste it again. So from here, we're going to be putting in the full path for the WordFence directory. And then for the iThemes Security Pro, we're going to put in that path as well. Now this path is for the pro version of iThemes Security. If you're using the free version, it's that path will be different, and this is going to be the name right here. So I'll just bring in this page here. It's going to be better-wp-security. So you can get the actual paths or the folder or directory names for your various plugins by using your FTP program. I use FileZilla, and you can see the actual names of the directories themselves. So let me show you that real quick. This is FileZilla right here, so I'm already logged in to my server, and I'm in the plugins path. So you see the plugins that I currently have installed here, and these are the directory names that you would have to target. So again, if you're using iThemes Security Pro, that would be the path name right there, along with the full path, obviously. Or if you're using the free version, it'll be Better WP Security. All right, so let's go back over here, and I'm actually going to do one more over here for the Yoast SEO plugin. And that one is WordPress-SEO. All right, so now we have these three directories that we're going to be excluding from the package setup. Again, this is for our local testing purposes. When we do the migration, we're not going to be excluding these paths right there. Now for the database, go over here, we can choose which database tables we want to exclude from this particular package. So again, we're going to focus on the iThemes Security, WordFence specific tables as well, and the Yoast SEO tables also. So just make sure you're only excluding the tables that you really don't want to have. So in this case, again, it's just the iThemes Security tables and the WordFence tables that we're going to be excluding. Once you double check everything, both the files in terms of their paths and then the database tables, we can click on Next. From here, it's going to scan your site and it'll give you some information about things that you might have to correct. All right, so when it scans it, you see I do get, in this case, a notice. I'm just going to expand that there, and it'll let you know what issues might exist. So it's telling me that I have a cache path, and that might cause an issue. So what I'm going to do is go to FileZilla. I'm going to go up a directory, go to that cache path right there, double check, make sure that's the path that it's looking for. It is. And I'm going to delete that folder right there, and that's gone. So we'll go back over here. We're going to rescan this. And now it tells us that we're good to go. So now we can click on the build button right here. And it's going to build our package out. As it states here, keep the window open during the build process. It could take some time depending on how big your website is and how many tables you have. All right, so once the build process is complete, you're going to get these options here. You could do the one-click download, or you could just download each individual file. So I'm just going to download the installer, and then I'm going to download the archive file as well. And now, since we're going to be doing this for our local web server purposes first, before we do the migration, we're going to install these files within that folder for our htdocs folders. Because again, I'm using MAMP for the local web server. So we'll go over here. We're going to take these files here. I'm going to cut them. And over here, I'll create a new folder, because this is where we're going to be placing the files. So I'll paste them there. And now we have that done. So again, I'm using the MAMP local web server on Windows, and this also works on Mac OS as well. So I'm going to go over here to my index of localhost. You could also get there by going to my website. And we should also create a database for this. So for that, I'll go to PHP myadmin, go to databases. I'll just give it a generic name. I'll create the database. And then from here, I'll go click on that folder right there. And then I'm going to click on the installer.php file. Then the duplicator page is going to open up with that URL in place. So it's localhost /sites/installer.php. And then it's going to give you the notification whether or not it passes or not. So we can expand that if you want to see what that says. And same thing for validation and options as well. Then it's going to want you to check off this box here. I have read and accept all terms and notices. And then click on next. It's going to run the deployment of Duplicator. And this might take some time. Once it's done processing the information, since we're going to be doing this on a local server, we can leave most of the default settings here. But for the database, we're going to make sure to put our local database name. And then since I'm using MAMP, the default username for the database is going to be root. And the password is going to be root. You can test the database. It'll let you know if it's successful. And then if it is, we can click on next. This will run the installer with these settings. And just click yes. Now it's going to install the database. And it'll say just please wait. It can take a couple minutes to get this done. Once that's done, it's going to present you with this page right here. These are the new settings. So this is the URL, and that's correct. The path is here, and the title is wrongsites.com. Want to take a look at the options there. We can create a new admin account. So I'm going to create a new username here, just for demo purposes. And I'm going to create a new password. Obviously, you're going to want a much stronger password for a production website, but this is the user credentials I'm going to use just for these demonstration purposes. And then down here, you get your scan options. So the site URL is going to take this URL, which is the new URL for your site in terms of the local version. And it's going to go through the entire database for you and change all the old URLs and all the paths. So that way everything works the way it should. We're going to leave these selected the way they are. And then we're going to go to next. Then it's going to update the data and it'll let you know if you have any issues. So since it does say we have install notices 1 and general notices, we're going to take a look at that and see what that is. We have one install notice and that tells us what errors were for that. And then we'll take a look at the general notices. So we're going to see if these issues here caused any issues when it came to creating a clone of our website. So we'll go to site login. Put in our very difficult password there. Click on login. And now we are here. We're going to see now if everything turned out okay. We do get this notice over here. Upload folder is not writable. Export and file upload features will not be functional. All right, so we'll see what issues might have happened. Go to the front end and look at that. I'm going to toggle this over here. We're going to go to our live website. I'll toggle that as well. This is our live website. This is our local website. And as we can see, everything is already migrated for us. Reload the page. All right, so we see that some of the images came in. Let me go into the backend. And it might be because of the actual plugins that I'm using for the sliders and for the image galleries. So I'm going to go to settings. And I'm going to toggle this button right here, fix broken migration. Let that run. Then save. Then I'll do the same thing for the Envira gallery. Fix broken migration. Let's see if that helped. And if all else fails here, what I'll do is I'll go into the database and I'll see if I can go into the options table and take care of it from there. So we see that we have all the database tables that would be from our production website and server now on our local server as well. As you see, we still have some of the database tables there. So we're just going to delete all these. That is probably what's causing the issue. So we're going to make sure we're only deleting the WordFence tables and the Yoast SEO tables as well. We want to keep everything else except for the iThemes security ones as well. So we'll click on those, make sure everything else is good to go. And then I'm going to drop those tables and I'll confirm dropping them. All right, so now we should only have the other tables that we do want to have. Let's see if that was helpful. All right, so now we'll go over here. We'll go to the options table. We're going to look for the upload path. Go to the next one. And this is the uploads path right there. All right, so we're going to go to the edit section over here. Click on that. Make sure that's correct. We're going to leave it like it is. Just click on go. See if that had any help for our situation. Click reload. And nothing yet. All right, so now we're going to go to another step that we can possibly take. Let's go to our dashboard. From here, we're going to go to the options.php file. This gives us some information about our settings that we have. We're going to scroll down to the uploads path. We're going to find that. And from here, we're going to try this over here. First, I'm going to copy all that just in case that doesn't work. I'm going to go over here. I'm going to delete everything before that actual section right there. And we're just going to leave wp-content/uploads. We're going to go back down and we're going to save changes. We'll go to the front, see if that helped. And it did. All right, so you see that we had a little bit of difficulty there, but it's nothing that's insurmountable. We were able to resolve the issue. We did a little bit of debugging. First, we saw that we weren't able to pull in some of the images that came with the migration. And I took you through a couple of troubleshooting steps that we were able to use to determine if one step would be helpful versus another. And that's what you're going to end up doing when you're creating these backups or cloning a website or things of that nature. So in this case, what we did and what actually worked and what would have worked over here as well. But we went to our dashboard over here, went to the options.php file and all the way to the bottom to the upload path and just replaced everything in there with just this, the wp-content/uploads. And that worked. Go to your database, go to the options table, wp_options, look for the uploads path and then change everything there. Since I changed it in the other section, now it's updated over here. And that's it. We go back over here and you see that everything else is working as it should. Let's see if the permalinks are properly set. The permalinks are properly set by default. Click on the blog post. Everything else just works. It's an exact clone of our live WordPress website. Everything else is exactly the same. We'll go to this is it. And this demo blog post is exactly the same from the production server to our local server as well. Now, this is a great way to work with any custom code that you might be utilizing for a theme that you're creating or for a plugin that you're creating that you want to test out before pushing it to a live website. The Duplicator plugin makes it very easy to do the cloning of your production website to a local server. So that works for the cloning of your production site to your local web server. Now, another step, we'll go over here. We'll go back to the dashboard. You're going to see this notification over here as well. It says the migration is almost complete. There are some files you're going to have to delete. So we can click on this link here. And then it's going to tell you that you need to delete some of the files that you place within the root directory of your local WordPress installation. So we can just click on the remove installation files now. It tells you what it deleted. And now you're good to go. So the migration is 100% effective. Now let's go through the process of migrating our website. So we're going to go back over here. I'm going to toggle that right there. This is the live website itself, the production website. So I'm going to go back to Duplicator, go to packages. You see we have our first package that we created, right? We're going to create a new package. This one I'll give it a different name. I'll just put in a number 2 there. And we're not going to exclude any files or folders. So I'll just toggle that off. Go to database. Make sure that we have everything included. All right, so now the database files are fine, and we're not going to be excluding any files or directories. We're going to click on Next. It's going to scan the system and then give us a status, and everything here seems fine. So now we could just click on Build, and this process might take a moment. Once it's done, we can then download the installer file and the archive file again. Now we have those done. All right, so for this part of the process, what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete my database and I'm going to recreate it. And the process for doing that very quickly is if you go to I'll show you my local host over here. I'll go to that database itself. We can go to operations. We could drop the database. This is using PHP myadmin. You could also use your tools within cPanel to delete a database as well. But since I'm using a bare bones VPS without any control panels or graphical user interfaces, I'm going to go through that process separately, delete the database, recreate it, and I'll delete all the files and folders using my FTP program as well. In another video, I'll show you the process of doing this on a bare bones server. But if you're using a shared hosting account or a server that has a graphical user interface like cPanel with PHP myadmin, you would just navigate to the PHP myadmin section, go to your database, and then you could drop the database from there or use cPanel to delete the database or create the database that you need to do. So give me a moment and I will start the process of deleting everything and show you that the website will no longer work. All right, so I just dropped the database. And we can see that now the actual website is no longer working. Now I'll go to my FTP program. I'm going to delete everything from here. And now we're done with that process of deleting all the files from the web server. So I'll go back here just to see what happens here. And now we have nothing there. All right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to take these two files that we downloaded earlier, and I'm going to place them within the folder on my local computer that I use to upload to my web server for that actual website. You see I have the local files downloaded already for that, but they're not on my production website. So I could just place the two files there. I'll go back to my FTP program. I could refresh. And now we see that we have the installer.php file. I'll upload that. And I'll upload that file right here, which is also part of that. These are the two files that we need to have uploaded within our root folder for the website. All right, so now I'm just going to create the database again. All right, so I just created the database within the terminal or command line via SSHing into my server. And again, in another video, I'll show you that very technical thing to do and if you want to SSH into your server. But for the vast majority of people, you can just create your database within PHP myadmin. So if you go in your control panel on your web server, you'll visit the PHP myadmin section and you can just create the database, or you can just use the MySQL wizard that's built into cPanel in order to create the database. And that's actually the preferred way to do it because you might not be able to just create it via PHP myadmin on a live server. So you might have to just use the cPanel route itself. So now what I'll do is I'll go over here. I want to go to installer.php. That's your URL, followed with a / and then installer PHP. Click on enter or return. Then again, you're going to get the duplicator page over here. It scans your deployment and it gives you any issues that you might have. And again, you can check out all the tabs to make sure you pass everything. Click on the I have read and accept all the terms and notices. Click on next. It'll start the process of scanning everything for you. Now for this one, we're going to be using our existing database name. That's the same database that you had within your wp-config file. And then the username and password. So I'll put the database there, the username, and then the password. Take a look at the options. We can test the database. We have a success message. Click on next. This gives you your database settings. Then click on yes. If you have to update the database or any of the settings there, you can do that. Since we already had an admin account set up, we don't need to create a new one. This is optional, so we'll leave that blank. And if you migrate or change your URLs, you will be able to edit that over here as well. We're going to leave everything else the same. Click on Next and start updating everything. Here we see in the migration we had no issues. There are no install notices, no update notices. We just have some general notices, so we can take a look at the report, see what it says there, giving us some information. And the reason why I see this, and you might not see this, but I see it because I have custom code that I put into my WP-config file with the site URL and the home URL and things of that nature. So you might not see that, so don't worry if you don't. But everything else was fine. There's no install notices and no update notices. So now we're going to go to the site login. I'm going to log in, make sure everything's good to go. And it seems like we're back up and running. Now let's see if we had any migration issues in this case, which I doubt we had since we didn't see any issues with the duplicator scan. Go to the front of the website, toggle this off, and everything just transferred flawlessly. Nice and easy. Everything is back up and running the way that it's supposed to be. We are 100% back in business. Take a look at the blog post. Take a look around, make sure everything's working fine, but it should be. There should be no issues. All right, so we're good to go. Now we're going to go back into our dashboard there. Remember, dismiss that there. We have to take care of this notification here because it's a security issue to leave these files on your server. So we're going to click that link there. And we're going to remove the installation files. And it took care of deleting those files. If you have any issues deleting these files using the admin panel of your WordPress website, then you can use your FTP program just to delete those files. And we're good to go. Everything is migrated and everything is working as it should. The migration was actually easier than doing the cloning only because of the way the cloning process happened with the uploads file not being writable. So we just needed to take care of the issue via the database. Again, it would be in that section in the options table. In the uploads path section here, you could just edit that and change whatever is there for this information right there. That's what you want there. You might have a full path URL, and that's what can cause the issue. And you can fix it by just having this information there like that. But we are good to go. Our website is back up and running, and everything is as if nothing ever happened. This is great if you want to migrate to a new server, if you want to change domain names, if you want to clone your website, or just make a backup of your website. You could also just make a backup of your database as well. So you can go back here to Duplicator, Packages. See, we now have no packages here since this is on our migrated version. So we create a new package, and we could choose to just archive only the database if you want to just take a backup of the database itself. So that's one thing you could do as well. But otherwise, that's exactly how you do it. That's how you back up your WordPress website. That's how you clone your WordPress website, and also how you can migrate your website somewhere else. Duplicator is a great plugin. It's free to use, and it's relatively easy as long as everything is set up properly on your server. If you run into any issues, the Duplicator team does have some good documentation. And you can go here to the About. You can put in your email address to stay in the loop. Or you can go to the General section, Packages, go right here. And you can take a look at their Quick Start Guide. And it'll give you some more information as well. Alright, so hopefully you found this video helpful. I just wanted to show you how you can duplicate or clone or backup or migrate your WordPress website using the free Duplicator WordPress plugin. If you found it useful, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification icon, leave your comments down below, and take a look at some of the other videos that I have on my channel that might be helpful for you. I have a bunch of videos on WordPress theme development, various WordPress plugins, theme reviews, and other topics related to managing a website. Alright, again, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment down below, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.